Hey y'all, it's Marianne Pack, and I have something I want to talk to you about today. I've been writing in my little journal. I got one of my little inexpensive journals, and I got the idea to start writing my life story. So it's like a little storybook of the way I would love to see my life and how I want to experience it and how I want it to fulfill me and how to feel, how good it feels. And so I've been doing this for about a month, I suppose. And so every day I just write a chapter in it, different ways that I've been envisioning my life to be. And then I tell the story as if it's already happened and how wonderful it makes me feel. So today I was inspired to write about um, the story of being gentle with myself. That was the topic I wanted to address. And it was so much fun to write. So I thought I would come on here. I posted about it a little earlier, and I thought I would just come on here and read it to you. Um, because I love happy endings, and all these stories in my journal, my storybook of life, has a happy ending. So this is my story. It's the story of being gentle with myself. Once upon a time, there was a girl who was very hard on herself. She was taught to believe she was innately sinful and lost to the goodness of God. She was taught there was no cure for her wicked condition except to cry out to a male God's son and beg forgiveness. If she were repentant of this wickedness inside, she would be saved. Now, mind you, this repentance never made her completely perfect, and she would continue to sin all throughout her life. So, guilt, shame, and tears of regret would be her constant companions. It was very emotionally traumatic and not a sustainable way to live. So, she complained all the time. One day, when she was all grown up with children of her own, she started asking herself why she believed all these things about how bad she was and when it felt so horrid. All along, she had always felt like life should be fun and that her spiritual walk should feel good. She felt the ache in her heart to feel love and joy and peacefulness that she had not found even by being saved. She looked for guidance, she asked for help, and help began to show up. Teachers and mentors guided her into new thoughts about who she really was that felt so good to her soul. Her soul recognized the truth of these new thoughts, so she kept repeating them to herself because they rang true in her heart. Eventually, she started to believe these new thoughts. The more she believed how good and loved she was, the better she felt, and the more wonderful things began to happen in her life. She wasn't nearly as unhappy or sickly. A smile graced her face more often than the angry frown that had felt to her a permanent fixture. She started to feel better in her body like she had never felt before. Life became more fun. She was at peace. She noticed she wasn't so ashamed and tearful. She could be happy no matter what was going on. She began seeing people for who they really were, as joy embodied, even when they didn't act or speak like it. She knew they must be going through something like she had, as they believed the lies others had taught them. So she simply loved them because she knew she was love. She began to love herself more. She felt more joyful and alive. She found things she loved doing and shared these with others. Others loved being around her as she was a ray of sunshine in a sometimes dismal world. Yet she wasn't always this way. There were times when she would still think she was bad and not worthy of love or the good things she wanted. Sometimes she would get off track and bogged down by the feeling of those old beliefs that haunted her memory. In these moments, she felt so bad. These thoughts had stolen her joy. By this time, she had learned that her emotions could guide her perfectly to know the truth. She knew that when she felt bad, it indicated that she was believing a lie. When she felt really good, she knew that indicated she believed the truth. This gave her the wisdom to notice how she was feeling throughout the day. She started getting pretty good at recognizing her feelings and making adjustments as needed. But in those moments when she was indeed feeling bad, she decided to start being gentle with herself. She had always learned to be hard on herself and to speak unkind things to herself. She learned to judge herself wrong from way back. Yet this never felt good, so she knew this too must be more lies she was telling herself. Her emotional sensors began working perfectly as a truth versus lie detector. When she would be gentle with herself and give herself grace, she noticed a feeling of relief. Then she thought to herself, if being gentle with myself and not condemning myself feels a little better, what thoughts can I think that would feel even better? So she would conjure up more thoughts that felt better, and the universe would match her thought with another like it. And in doing so, she returned to the truth of who she was. She knew those better feeling thoughts were in alignment with the truth about what her inner being knew, thought, and felt about her. Ah, so much better. That gentle attitude toward herself allowed her return again to the alignment of her love and joy. She felt at peace with where she was, no matter what was going on. She could look out into the world and see things that she didn't like and could immediately choose an improvement. When she would turn aside from the problems around her and she focused her precious attention on the solutions, her world changed. She saw evidence of the good choices she made. She believed in her newfound desires for goodness, and she began to witness goodness all around. She became very appreciative of the beauty that surrounded her daily. Her mind began to chatter all day, every day, with thank you, thank you, thank you. A little grin became her constant companion. She began to glow with an inner light that beamed out of her eyes toward others. Those who chanced to be around her loved her dearly, and she loved them. After many, many years, when she became a sage with silver hair, she started telling her stories in blogs and books. It felt so good, even though it was sometimes scary. She knew it would help others because she knew she was an uplifter, teacher, and healer at the core of her being. This brought her so much joy that she decided to help others to tell their stories of being gentle with themselves. As these women learned to love themselves and grow in wisdom and grace, their shackles of guilt and shame fell away. Their silence became a rumble. In their newfound freedom, they unmuted their voices to help others speak and live their truth. Now there is an entire movement of women supporting and loving each other to heights unknown. Woman after woman is rising to embody the love and joy they truly are. Authors are being born every day. Stories of self-gentleness and healing are being shared, all because it began with this once upon a time girl who decided to be gentle with herself. The end. So, do you have a once upon a time story, of becoming self-gentle? Um, if you're a woman with a story to tell, I'm happy to help you write it and move it into the world. So, because your readers will have a positive impact because of the story you chose to tell. And I just want to invite you that if you do have a book or a story that's being called through you, that we connect. And I want to offer a session with me to explore publishing. Let's explore this story that is so important for you to tell. And I just wanted to share that with you and invite you to connect with me. And if it's not a book, maybe it's a chapter in an anthology. However it is, let's get your story of self-gentleness and healing told. I love you. Let's write the world happy.